Good morning, bacon lovers. It's Saturday the 25th of April, Anzac Day here in New Zealand. It's a little bit windy, so I've just ducked off the road. I'm walking the dog and thought this is a nice spot. That's the next door neighbour's olive grove there behind me. Yeah, so Saturday 25th of April. Yesterday was a big delivery day. I managed to get around about 260 packets of bacon delivered around Auckland, so very, very busy day. And of course I managed to slip in a few of my thoughts about what's going on in the world right now with this coronavirus. So here is yesterday and the thoughts from a man in a van. Morning guys, let's check that's working. Beautiful sunny day. I'm on my way to the city. It is Friday the 24th of April. It's about 20 past 11. I've been cutting and packing the rest of that bacon all morning because after all that cutting yesterday, 211 packets of bacon. Did the numbers last night when I got home and I was short about 40 packets or 45 packets. So I've just cut about 50 packets of bacon extra. So there's 256 packets in the bag and a few left over at the shop. Oh, busy. I've also got some other deliveries in the back. I've got two nice big boxes of Matakana smokehouse salmon. He's a local producer, lovely smoked salmon called Matakana Smokehouse. And I've got a couple of deliveries for him in the back, which are going to a couple of the same Faro stores I'm going to, so no big deal dropping those off. And I've also got some mandarins in the back. You can't courier mandarins at the moment, and there's a shed load of mandarins around at the moment. And a good friend of mine just asked if I would drop some off for a friend of his in Auckland, because you can't get a courier mandarins at the moment. So what I'm doing is not completely ethical, but I'm not going to the person's house. He's just going to meet me at it's the closest Faro store to him, and I can just drop those two boxes into his car. So no contact, no handshakes, all that sort of stuff. I'll just tell him just to flick the boot open and I'll drop him in the boot. But his wife's suffering with cancer, and they want some good vitamin C. Yeah, I thought, because I'm not doing a daily vlog now, I'll let you know when and where this is. This is Friday. It's a gorgeous sunny day. It's about 16 degrees. There's a nice cool southerly blowing, but it's still t-shirt weather and shorts. And my first stop today will be the beautiful Orewa. Orewa's not that beautiful. The beach is nice, but it's the drive there through Waiwera and Wendoho. Just gorgeous, the drive. But yeah, so I thought I'd use the opportunity in the van to get things off my chest, talk about things that I've discovered, talk about things that I don't understand, talk about things that are relating to this coronavirus. And I'll start off by saying it's still really hard to understand. The World Health Organization at a press conference the day before yesterday, where that guy Dr. Tedros, he's another story, we'll do that later. Dr. Tedros from Ethiopia, who's the head of the World Health Organization, was basically begging countries not to go out of lockdown and not to reopen. He was begging them, and he said even we don't understand this virus, and it is hard to understand. The conflicting reports you receive, they're starting to get better data now, but the reports all suggest that kids don't get it. Now we're hearing from our own Dr. Bloomfield that it's very unusual for kids to pass it on to their parents. I find that hard to believe, because the World Health Organization has no real data on that. There are some data that's come out of China. I'll have to have a look at it, and that relates to children, so that's only just come out. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, and just came out yesterday, but I've got the link for it, so I'm going to have a look at that tonight. So you hear about that. You hear that 80% of people have mild or no symptoms at all. 15% get the symptoms and can be quite severe, and 5% get really severe and end up in hospital. So the numbers are really, really low. And it's interesting that China says they've got through and broken the back of the coronavirus and they're coming out the other side and gradually reopening. But what you don't see in the news is that there's the northern province of China, which borders Russia, there's a new outbreak. And according to Chinese media, it's out of control. Some weeks ago they closed that border there with Russia. You got to understand, China's a bit unusual. When you go to northern China, I've never been there, but I've seen videos up there. They're not even Chinese. They look like Soviet Union type Russians, you know, Kazakhstanis and all that sort of stuff. They're not even Chinese, and apparently that border crossing there is very loose, you know, because a lot of them see themselves, their family in Russia, but they've closed that border and now there's an outbreak up there. So they're not telling, you know, our news media is not reporting that. I have no idea why. Also in China, there's a city. You got to remember, China is made up of Category 1 cities. A lot of them: Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Guangzhou. They're all like Category 1 cities. Then beneath that, you've got a plethora of Category 2 and 3 cities. Now, they're called Category 2 over there, but they're about 8 times the size of Auckland. You know, there'll be 8 to 10 million people living in a Category 2 city. And there's one YouTube guy I've been following for ages. He's called Jia Yo. He was cycling around the world on a three-wheeler and doing all this beautiful footage of the countries he was visiting. He has his drone footage, and pretty amazing channel if you want to see a guy just riding a three-wheel bike around India and South Korea and all these sort of places. But since January, he's obviously not been able to do it, and he's married to a Chinese lady, and they've got a child, they've got a daughter, Eva. And when he went back to China in January because they were moving apartments. But he lives in a city called Ningbo, which is about 2 hours on the high-speed train from Shanghai, just south of Shanghai. Probably about 3 or 4 hours driving. It's a Category 2 city, but it's huge, big high-rises, huge spread, lots of industry there. And they were moving apartments, and of course they were about to move apartments when they shut down China. And after a few weeks it wasn't hitting Ningbo just yet, but after a few weeks he decided it would be better with what was going on in China with Wuhan and everything at the time. It would be better for him to get out of China, get his family over to the States where he's from. He's American, and it'll be a lot safer there. So they got out just in the nick of time, just before they closed all the airports and everything. He did a lot of videos on that, and they self-quarantined in China. Self-quarantined in Chicago, and then moved up to Michigan, where his family lives. So they did all the right things, and they're all fine. But when America started going crazy, they decided, maybe some pressure from the wife, that it was safer to go back to China. So they did. There's some fantastic videos of him trying to get back to China, and all the security and the checks that they do in China, even in Ningbo, where they haven't had a really major outbreak, and very interesting to watch. Anyway, he's been there a few weeks now, and he's doing a few vlogs once every few days from his new apartment, which is quite nice, got a lovely view and stuff. But Ningbo hasn't had one positive test for over 6 weeks, 1.5 months, not one, according to what he's been told. However, he still has to have a passport, a medical passport on his smartphone. And you have 3 colours: you have the green, the yellow, or the red. Green means you're all good. You can go out in the car, do your shopping, do whatever you like basically. But if he goes out, he has to have a temperature check before he leaves the apartment complex. If he pops into Starbucks, he says Starbucks is there and they're open, he has to have another temperature check, show the pass and all that carry on. they're recording all the data. It's for contact tracing, so if something happens, if he gets sick, they can look immediately. All that data is held just from his smartphone of where he's been, who's been in contact with, and then they go really aggressive, and everybody who's possible has to go into quarantine and be checked and all this sort of stuff. So the Chinese have been very, very, very careful, because one slip up and it'll affect everybody else's bubbles, all those other bubbles, it'll just go out like wildfire. So even though we're hearing that China is through the worst of it and they're coming out the other side, even reopening Wuhan, the epicenter, I still think they know more than what they're letting on if they've got such stringent checks. It's so difficult, we'll like go to the supermarket, you're going to get checked, only certain, just like we've got the queues outside, only a certain number in. And this is in a city that hasn't had one positive case for over 6 weeks, according to him. So I'm a little bit suspicious. It's now come out too that it's true what I've been saying all along, that the data that China was releasing, only 3,400 deaths and only 55,000 positive cases in a country that size. It's huge. 1.4 billion people. I've said all along it's just impossible. It's a mathematical impossibility. But now they're starting to come out and say no, we've miscounted. So they put the deaths up exactly 50%. It's almost like they've just plucked a figure out of the air. It's exactly 50% more. I found that odd. Now there's mathematical data coming out from the Hong Kong University that's saying China, just on the mathematics of it, would have not had 55,000 positives, but would have had at least 240,000 plus, at least. And I think it's going to be a hell of a lot more. Still 1.4 billion people, and now they've got this massive outbreak in this northern province. I can't remember the name of it. So that's just some little thoughts from Mr. Steve. I'll have a talk with you next, a little bit later, about how I think things are going to unfold with China.